Welcome to the webinar. My name's Emmanuel, the Commercial Product and Marketing Manager here at Microsoft Australia. And today we're going to be talking to you about how we can enable your workforces to be more mobile and using the latest devices so that they can be more productive in spaces that they were maybe not so productive previously. Now, if you've got any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to ask them using the question mark at the bottom of the panel. We're all waiting here to answer your questions real time, so please feel to post them at any time. So one of the major megatrends is mobility, and to introduce that to us today, I have Charles Reed Anderson, the Associate Vice President for Telecoms and Mobility from IDC.
Thanks, Emmanuel. Today we're here to talk about the path to mobility in Asia Pacific. To start off, we're going to look at the current state of the enterprise mobility market. Then we're going to look at some of the dilemmas that the CIOs face when they look at enterprise mobility. And then we're going to look at the path that these CIOs are following as they evolve their offerings. And then finally, we'll close off with some IDC essential guidance and the steps that you should follow when you look at your mobility offering. To start off with, we should look at the current status of the Asia Pacific enterprise mobility market. And basically, it's still in its very early phases. We recently went out to 1,600 plus companies across Asia Pacific and asked them, is your organization adopting or intending to adopt a mobility solution in the next 18 months? And we did find some good news with this. 75% of the companies said they have some form of a mobility offering. However, only 17% of those companies actually have what we would define as a mobile solution, which means a mobile device management solution or a mobile application. 58% though are just issuing devices and they're not actually leveraging the capability of those devices. The good news though is that this market is becoming much more mature and we anticipate a lot of change in the coming year. Another question we asked that same audience, what components of a mobile strategy do you plan to have in place over the next 18 months? And 58%, by far the strongest category, was leveraging mobile applications to streamline the business process. And another 43% said they planned on having a list of supported devices and platforms on which to run their business. And this is important because until now, it's been about the niche solutions or the point solutions. And now people are looking for the platforms on which to grow their mobility offerings for the future. Finally, we should look at the spend and where companies plan on looking in the future. Once again, we were quite optimistic by what we found. 63% of the companies we surveyed said they plan to increase their mobility spend in the coming year, as well as 35% investing in mobile device management. And what's really good about this is it's getting to be a much more robust offering. They're not just looking at specific components of mobility. They're looking across the board. So part of it will be about the devices, part of it's about the applications, and a lot of it will be about extending the current desktop applications to the mobile devices, things like unified communications. But now we need to take a look at it from the CIO perspective, and they face a lot of challenges. This ecosystem slide gives you an idea about what a CIO has to face when they look at doing mobile solutions. To simplify it, I'll give you an example of what a solution could actually be. If I'm a CIO, I have end users who are on the one side that want to access an application on their choice of device that's going to work over any type of network, whether it's a 3G or 4G network, or their home Wi-Fi, or their corporate network. That application needs to be accessed securely over some middleware into a back-end system. An example of this could simply be mobile email, but this is the process it would go through. The challenge the market faces, and the challenge for the CIO is, if you want to have one single mobility offering, it could involve bundling multiple products from multiple vendors into a single solution. And to date, they don't know who to turn to. And the real challenge for them is, even if they can find the products that they need to actually run these solutions, they still need to find a partner who can actually integrate it for them. And because a lot of them will lack the internal skills and resources to deliver these solutions, they need to look at outsourcing opportunities and managed service. And there's not many people who can actually deliver that. And finally, as we adopt more cloud-based type solutions, people want flexibility in the delivery and financial models behind it. So they're looking for different pricing options going forward as well, and in particular, the as-a-service model. When we look at the customers and where they're going to date, the first thing they started off with is mobilizing their person. Now the bad news with this is they've been doing this for about the last 15 years. They issue mobile devices to their users, or now what they're doing is allowing them to bring their own devices into the organization. However, with this, they only provide very basic access for the users. And normally that's going to be access to their mobile email. They're not actually getting to the point of mobilizing the business application. And the challenge this creates for the CIO and for IT is that mobility then becomes a cost to your organization. If you properly manage, support, and secure these devices and the users and the content that resides in those devices, it is going to be a cost to your organization. What we're starting to see now is people realizing this and that they must move into mobilizing the business process. And what's important about this is you can now deliver tangible business benefits to your organization, and that will lead to a positive ROI. Types of solutions will depend on the audience. For your executives, it might be rolling out business intelligence. For your field services workers, it could be mobilizing an ERP system. And across the board, there's a variety of solutions that will help customers actually deliver value back to the organization through mobility. And the final phase, which very few companies are at to date, is mobilizing the channel. And this is where it gets really exciting, because it isn't just using mobility for your internal operations. It's leveraging your suppliers and your distributors and mobilizing the entire chain. And examples of this could be a retailer that actually tags all their products at the point of manufacturing, and then they can track them throughout the supply chain until it reaches the store. And then they can use that to manage the inventory levels going forward and prevent theft. So this is really the holy grail where everyone's going towards. However, the majority of the companies today are still stuck in phase one, and what we anticipate happening over the coming year is that moving into phase two. So finally, for those of you looking to invest in mobility, I'd like to give you the IDC essential guidance. First and foremost, be strategic. Understand your users, their profiles, and their needs and requirements. And this will allow you then to design solutions that will allow you to leverage mobility and streamline your business process. This, in turn, will deliver tangible business results that support the business model. Next, be secure. And it's very important to realize that BYOD, while it's been fantastic and great for the end users, has increased the security risks of the organization. So before you can even move on to doing things like mobile applications, make sure your existing devices are secured. Next, be equipped. It's very difficult to actually build out the skill sets internally that will allow you to do a complex mobility solution. So find partners who can actually help you in this process and bring in the skills that are missing. Finally, off of this, be prepared. The market of mobility will change continually. There'll be new devices, new applications, and new technologies. So when you build out an architecture, make sure it's flexible enough to account for the changes of the future. Thank you very much.
At Microsoft, we strongly believe that there is two ways that we can benefit you and your business with mobility. The first is enabling your sales form to have that mobile experience and agility to work from anywhere. And then the second is also providing your customers with that mobile experience that they expect. So first of all, let's take a look at your employees and how we can enable them to be more productive out on the go. We strongly believe that work is something you do and not somewhere you go. So providing them with devices and experiences that can actually make them more productive while they're out and about so that they can get their work done without having to be bound to a desk. So with Windows 8 and Windows 8.1, we now enhance that experience to have the experience that they can access the content that they require to do the jobs that you need them to do. And the devices are becoming more and more portable, and with the choices that are coming out from our OEM partners, you can see that there is a lot of different things that can suit different workforces. But from a customer perspective, it's important to provide them with the experience that they expect so that they can get access to the content and information that you need to provide them to make the decisions around your products. So providing apps is certainly a way of being able to do that, and providing that experience around your product is essential to winning those customers. So when we look at that experience with applications, Windows 8 and Windows 8.1 now enhances that experience to make it easier for them to work, whether it be on a consumer application or on a line of business application. So that experience for a worker becomes seamless as they become a consumer at the same time. So mobility is a major influence into the way that we're looking at the strategy with Windows 8, that we can now take these devices and be productive no matter where we are at any time. At the same time, our applications are obviously starting to engage loyal customers, and those customers will start to revisit and reuse your products more and more often by creating an experience that is more familiar to them without having the disjointed experience of multiple different platforms. At Microsoft, we strongly believe that users should have the choice in the devices that they want to use. With Windows 8.1, we now see a huge range of different devices coming into the market, from 8-inch screens all the way through to 27-inch all-in-one PCs. So we now know that users prefer to choose the device that's right for the job that they're doing. And we like to give them different choices rather than just a single choice, but at the same time provide them with a consistent experience around what they're doing. So when they make a change on one of those interfaces, it can be replicated across all of the interfaces without having to relearn different platforms. With 8.1, we see a huge number of changes in terms of the personalisation of the interface in order to allow them to be that little bit more personal as a device. With these devices, we not only want to provide the choices, but we need to provide the security and management so that we can provide access to the content that they require to get their jobs done while they're out on the road, but at the same time giving the IT the peace of mind to know that things are actually going to be secure if that device was ever lost. Staying productive on the go is a major part of what we need our users to do. Being able to have that consistent interface, but also access to the tools that they know and love based on the Office platform, so that they can access their documents, change spreadsheets, update PowerPoint files without having to worry about formatting and the access and security that might be required around those programs. So when we look at this, these devices now provide users with a single device that they can use as a tablet, convert it to a notebook, and also stay productive while staying connected to their social networks and friends and family. At the same time, this new platform provides our users with the ability to have line of business applications that are custom built for the applications that they need. In terms of, it might be a HR manager seeing a dashboard of exactly the absentees and sick leave, or in terms of, it might be a sales manager being able to see a dashboard of their sales month to date and current opportunities that may be residing in the pipeline. So these line of business apps make us a hell of a lot more productive while we are out and about utilising our mobile devices without having to be chained to a desk running our reports via a web browser on a desktop PC. So you can see this information via the live tiles and have that ability to customise your dashboard to suit the use that you need. But at the same time, not only can we provide line of business applications to our users, but we can also provide exciting experiences to our customers. So with line of business applications, we're seeing what's happening within the business, but with our customer engagements, we're able to provide them with an experience of the product that they may not have been able to have previously. So this platform now really allows us to build on from a perspective of mobility and providing devices and experience across a phone, a tablet, a PC, or an all-in-one on a kitchen bench, providing them with the content and also the resources that they need to make their decisions, whether it be at home or also at work. So our major focus was to really embrace this mobile connected world. Having our users who want to be informed at any point in time, whether it be at work or at home, whether it be with their work content or their social content, that now we can provide them with that experience that makes it a lot more possible to be productive no matter where they are in their personal or in their work life. We at Microsoft believe that it's very important to make sure that our users are connected no matter where they are and productive on any device. So being able to provide them with the experiences that they require, whether it be at home doing their personal work or at work doing their work on their devices, having that experience is really important to being more productive. And at the same time, simplifying how that experience is across devices from a 4-inch screen on a phone all the way through to a 27-inch screen on their all-in-one. One of the key things that we're really focused on is making sure that these people have access to the content they require on the devices that they want to use that makes them more productive no matter where they go. So let's take a look at how Microsoft can help you if you're looking at changing from Windows XP through to a new mobile enterprise. So as we embrace mobility, we can also protect your enterprise by also empowering your mobile workforce with delighting experiences for your employees and customers alike, whilst delivering them an engaging experience. So let's take a look at how we can bring all of these elements together with a customer here in Australia, Campari, who started to roll out Windows 8 on a number of tablets to their sales force to make them more efficient. So I'm here at the Campari head office in Sydney to talk to Darren Curtis, the National Business Manager, about their latest rollout of Windows 8 on HP tablets. Hi Darren, maybe you could just give us a little bit of an introduction about Campari and how the business is running in Australia?
Yep, no problems. Thanks, Manny. I guess Campari is now, or it was originated back in 1860, and it's come a long way since then. In the last probably 10 to 15 years, the business has really developed through acquisitions of many, many different brands. In the Australian marketplace, we're best known with the Wild Turkey brand, but we also have Sky Vodka, obviously the Campari brand itself, Aperol, Riccadonna, to name a few. So it just highlights, I guess, how it's been built over the last 10 to 15 years. Within the Australian marketplace, we've actually only been up and running for the last 3 years. So we're a really new business within the Australian area, and we're still growing. The business itself is actually the 6th largest global spirits company in the world. So we do okay, but certainly within the Australian marketplace, it's still getting to know us, if you like.
Sounds a little bit better than okay to me. And in terms of your team, you said the last 3 years, how have they been operating out in the field, and how big is your team as well? So,
given we've really been a start-up in the Australian market, I guess it's fair to say a lot of the guys are using pen and paper, and their office is really their car. So it's folders, hard copy presenters and things like that. So we've probably done it the hard way over the last 3 years, and it's really time to change. And that's obviously one of the major reasons that we've looking at new technology and a new CRM model to really bring that to life.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you've just rolled out HP tablets along with Windows 8. How's that going so far? How is the team adapting to this new way of working?
The team have really jumped on board really quickly. It's fair to say we've got a mix of probably guys and girls who are in their 20s up to guys and girls in their 40s. So, but the positive and pleasing thing has been that everyone's really jumped on board, and within really 2 weeks, everyone's now using the tablets and the Microsoft 8 platform really, really nicely.
So what benefits is the team seeing from using these HP tablets with Windows 8 on them?
One of the key benefits that they're seeing at the moment is the ability to, via soft copy, send a presenter to a customer, know when that customer's actually read the presenter, and I guess track orders as a result of that as well, which is great. And if you think about the number of products in our range, at the moment we're currently hard copy, so knocking down a lot of trees to print hard copy trade presenters. That's pretty much a thing of the past for us now. So a lot of the guys carry them in the back of their cars, they get damaged with the cars moving around. So that pretty much removes all of that from our business, and everything will be done via the tablet and our CRM model moving forward.
And having that CRM available where they're out at the customer, what sort of benefits do they have there in terms of saving time and double handling of information?
It's pretty much a one-stop shop for them now. Traditionally, what they used to have to do is talk to the customer, then they'd have to log on through the laptop, which would take 15 minutes to boot up. Mm-hmm. Then they'd place an order through an external web portal, and then try and capture what they've done, probably on a piece of paper or on a notebook. Mm-hmm. So there's multiple different things that we're doing. The benefit now is that they can do everything through the tablet. So everything they do, from talking to the customer, communicating to the customer, ringing the customer, everything is captured in that one spot. So it's obviously helps them sell at the moment, but it also captures that sales history and that record for us. For when people move on and people change roles, which inevitably happens. We've got that history now, which we haven't had for the last 3 years.
So Darren, why did Campari choose to have a Windows 8 tablet with HP? What were the key benefits there?
I guess there are a lot of options out in the marketplace, and I guess sort of working with our IT team, we sat down and looked at each different one. I guess the HP Windows 8 tablet gave us all the functionality and productivity we needed in one device. For example, the Office platform with Excel and PowerPoint, which our team use a lot, mm-hmm. Was important to have that on the same device, as opposed to using multiple devices to achieve and do our jobs at the end of the day. So that was pretty much an easy choice from a sales perspective, and very much an easy choice from our IT team as well. Mm-hmm.
yeah, certainly having that single device makes it a lot easier for not only the user, but also from the IT perspective in terms of devices and management and keeping track of who's got what. So I guess, overall, what's the feeling been on the team? How do they feel about having these new devices?
The team are really excited. Yeah, we've just finished, rolling out the platform. So as I mentioned, within 2 weeks we had most of the team up and running. Everyone's using it now. Everyone's communicating via it. They're sharing stories, sharing learnings. There's nothing but positives that have really come out of the rollout for us as a business. We're looking forward to taking that into the future.
Excellent. Great. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Benny.
I'm now here with Loic, the IT manager for Campari Australia. So, Loic, tell us a little bit about why Campari chose Windows 8 tablets.
Oh, look, it's very simple actually. We started introducing a new CRM this year, and for us it was a perfect opportunity to step change the way we work, and we thought right away about tablets and why not Windows 8.
So why Windows 8? What was the decision around choosing Windows 8?
Look, the first decision was to introduce a CRM in the business, and that was a perfect opportunity for us to step change we do business. And then we wanted to introduce tablets because that's a perfect, it's a light system, and the guys are loving it. And then the question was around, do we go with iPads or do we go with something else? And the decision was very easy to make.
And what were those decision criteria? What made you decide?
Well, I love iPads, first of all. I have 3 iPads at home, and I'm loving it. But as a consumer, I will never introduce this at work because you can actually not really work with it. Yes, you can get your email, that's fine. One thing you won't be able to do, for instance, is to update presentations, work with Excel, work with Word. And at the end of the day, that's also a security threat for us. Where with Windows 8, that's a system that we all know, and the great thing now, it's available also on tablets.
Mm-hmm. So security and management obviously is a big part or a big concern for IT. And having that ability with Windows 8 was obviously the key decision factor. Why the HP tablet? What was the key decision on the HP tablet?
It's HP tablets. Why HP? Because first of all, at Campari we love HP. We have HP servers, HP workstations, and then they were the first to come up with a tablet that is with the right size and also with the right hardware.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the device is obviously a key thing around not only having security and management, but having that right device. And how is that changing, obviously, with your CRM, the way that people are doing their work?
Well, we are talking about salespeople, and they used to carry their laptop, in the outlets. They were meeting the store managers with their laptops, and a laptop is quite long to start, especially we were using Windows XP, and now with Windows 8, that's fantastic. They just switch it on, it works right away.
So you went straight from XP to Windows 8 with your sales team?
Yeah, with the sales team, yeah. We are a big Microsoft account, I guess, Campari worldwide. So we have Microsoft servers, and we have a lot of Windows 7 here, but with the sales team, yeah, we went straight from XP to Windows 8.
And that change management, having them, adjust to the new operating system, there's a lot of feedback from our customers that it's such a huge change. How quickly did they take that up?
Well, a week.
Yeah.
a week maximum, for the adoption. Everybody now is used to tablets and to operate with their fingers. Mm-hmm. So, and one thing that they like with Windows 8 is that they can use it as a tablet. And if they want to switch to their desktop, that's something they can do without a problem.
So the single device reduces the complexity of having multiple devices, multiple interfaces.
Absolutely.
And once you learn that interface, it becomes a lot faster.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
And we are talking only about that, but we could talk about the cost of having two devices that is gone now. So.
Yes, certainly. Yeah, cost. And having a single device in terms of the management and security, what benefits does that also provide?
Yeah, so that's great. So one thing also about the management and the security is, we have to think about the support team. And my team is very pleased to continue to work on Windows systems rather than having to learn the iOS, world, for instance. So because we all know iOS, it's great. gain as a consumer, but not really for business, because that's a whole new world to learn. Windows, we know that.
Great. Well, thanks for your time, Loic. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you.
So as we've just heard from Campari, they've just started to roll out the HP ElitePad tablets. Now, let's take a look at some of the devices, because as I mentioned earlier, one device doesn't necessarily suit everybody. We've also got devices that are suitable as detachables, so they have a keyboard attached. You can then detach the keyboard and use it as a tablet when you need to, when you're out on the go. But then when you're back at your desk or at home on the couch, you might want to attach the keyboard, because sometimes we're just more productive with a mouse and keyboard than with touch. And in other instances, when we're out and about, we also want to be able to use touch to be productive when we can't use the keyboard. Then from there, we also have these new hybrid devices, which are called convertibles. Well, convertibles allow us to, without having to detach the keyboard, still have a traditional notebook form factor, but that can then convert over to being a tablet when you need it to be. So for those users that are more reliant on a mouse and keyboard, but are sometimes using touch, that's where a convertible device would be more suitable for them. And then the last sort of device that we have is the traditional notebook, which has now got touch enabled as well. So not only can you use this as a mouse and keyboard, but for some of those applications that are built for touch, it makes more sense to have a touch screen enabled so that we can actually use those features that have been built in. So now that we've seen all of these great new devices, let's take a look at the new experience that we're providing with Windows 8.1. Windows 8 was always an ambitious change, a change that was really set up for the future, not for short-term success. So let's take a look at the feedback that we've received from our customers and what changes we've made in order to make them more productive while they're out and about with these great new devices. Okay, so let's take a look at Windows 8.1 and some of the changes that we've made in terms of the interface. So first of all, you can see here the Start menu. I have the ability to resize and change the size of the tiles based on the interface that I want to have. So by selecting Resize, I can have a large tile, or I can have an extremely small tile for those ones that I don't need to provide updates. And then there's obviously now two extra choices, being small and large. So wide provides me with the standard view, and then extra large gives me more content. From here, I can now fit more tiles and more information onto my start screen, and just by tapping and holding on the tiles, I can actually select multiple tiles at one time and move those all at once, rather than having to move one at a time like I used to with Windows 8. So we've listened to that feedback about being able to make the interface more customizable and at the same time provide more flexibility in moving those tiles around. Now from here I can also give that a name. So this is my everyday apps that I do. And from here I can then move those groups, of course, by pinching on the screen and dragging that down to the end. Now from here, I don't need to have all of my applications on the start screen. So just by simply swiping up on the screen, I can now see all of the applications that I have installed on my PC. And I can sort them in different ways. I can sort them by the ones that I use mostly, or I can also sort them based on categories, and also by the date installed if I've just installed some earlier in the week. So you can see here it's quite simple and easy for me to be able to group those applications and find the things that I'm looking for. And just again, by tapping on them and holding, I can then select and find where it is on the Start menu, and it will take me directly to where that application is, just over here, and open that application. So it makes that interface a hell of a lot easier, but one of the other key feedback that we received was that the start screen to the desktop experience was too jarring. So as you can see here, I have my desktop, and that's a different background. And when I hit the Start button, it takes me back to this new Start menu. What a lot of people would have liked was the ability to go in and change the background of the start screen to match that of their desktop. So now, as you can see, I have my background from my desktop as the background to my Start menu. So when I open up the Start menu, it just hovers up and brings up those applications that I use on a regular basis. So the other key thing we found is a lot of people still like to use a mouse and keyboard. So what we did was we've made new enhancements to using mouse and keyboard with Windows 8.1. So when I'm on my desktop, and I may be on a machine that doesn't have touch, because we still love the mouse and keyboard, you'll notice that the Start button has reappeared. And the Start button, by clicking on it, simply takes me back to that Start menu, and I can now have the choice if I would like to see all apps or if I want to see the Start menu. So under navigation, I can go in here and say, go to the desktop when I start and sign in. So therefore I see my desktop immediately when I log into my machine. And I could also have the apps view automatically when I go to Start, rather than having the Start menu itself. So now you'll notice when I take my mouse to the Start button, it will take me to my All Apps view. And again, I can change whether I want it by name or by most used or by category as well. So that gives me that option, obviously, to be able to choose whether I'm using touch or whether I'm using a mouse and keyboard. And it takes away that jarring feeling that a lot of users provided to us. Now, we've also enhanced some of the new core experiences in Windows 8. So I'm going to move back to touch now, and I'm going to show you the new store. So if I'm looking for the store, I can just start typing store on the keyboard and hit enter, and it will take me directly to the store. Now, as the number of applications in our store is exploding, we're now over 100,000, we've made it a lot easier to find what you're looking for. And the content that you're seeing is a lot more relevant based on the area that you may be using the store from, and you can see more details about the application without having to dig in and find that information. So it's found a few, applications that it's selected for me. I can then go across and see what's popular at the moment, and I can simply just go in and select, for example, the application, take a better look at it, see what the screenshots look like, and hit the install button and install that directly to my machine. Now that application will install directly to my All Apps rather than going to my Start screen. So if I go back to my Start screen here, you'll notice if I go back to Date Installed, Facebook 1 is at the top there. And if I want to add this to my Start screen, I can simply just tap and hold on that application and select and pin that to my Start screen. That adds that to the end. Again, I can drag that and select it. I can move that application to where I want that to be, just by dragging it down to the bottom, and I'm going to add that in with my people applications. So again, I can select that and change the size and make that a small tile so that it's just a small icon for me to select, or I can make it a wide tile so that I have it taking up more space on my Start screen. Now, from here, some of the other core applications have been upgraded with Windows 8.1, and one of the best ones is search, because search is one of the things that we do quite regularly. So by swiping in from the side and selecting search, I can now search for something that's relevant for me, not only in the applications, not only in my files, but also out on the internet. Now, one of my favourite bands is actually Cold Chisel. So I can select Cold Chisel there, hit search, and here you can see a lot of different content that I can see: videos, music, photographs, and even websites. It searched the content on my machine as well as out in the internet. Now, my last thing I just want to show you is the ability now with Snap. I can actually snap applications next to each other without having to be restricted to 2/3 of the screen or 1/3 of the screen. Now, if you're running a larger monitor, like a 27-inch, you can actually snap now 4 applications next to each other and resize those applications to the size that makes sense to what you're doing. So in conclusion, we've really looked at how we can optimize based on the feedback we received from our customers in order to make the interface more appealing and more productive for what they're doing. So in wrapping up, let's take a look at how Microsoft can help you in this journey into being a mobile workforce for your enterprise. So you may be taking the venture from Windows XP, which is ending support on April 8, 2014, or you may already be on Windows 7. But we are looking at how we can help you with these exciting new devices, whilst also providing them with the experiences and the content that they need in order to be productive on the go, whether that be your workforce or your customers, and at the same time providing the security and manageability that you require in order to make these devices productive. So the next steps I would suggest is get in contact with your account manager or your partner who can take you through a customer immersion experience, or a CIE as we call it, in order to touch and feel these things firsthand. And we're happy to help you on your journey into this exciting new mobile workforce.